Hey MJ traders and investors, it's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth for an MJ Sector review. Today is Friday, March 12th, and happy Friday. Hope everyone had a great day and week, and hope you have a great weekend as well. Before we jump into today's content, make sure to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. So before we jump into some charting and a review of the US and Canadian MJ sectors, we're going to look at some news and events, and we'll go over this fairly quickly. There wasn't a whole lot of news on the agenda today, but we had some news that Governor Cuomo comments on the legalization bill. So we saw that MJ stocks are likely to continue recent momentum after New York Governor Cuomo noted in just concluded press conference that his staff will be working on the MJ bill over the weekend. So then they go on to name a few different tickers and pretty much listed a mix of all Canadian and US MJ. So nice to see. We could see some updates on that over the weekend and into next week. Keep in mind as well, we could be seeing more developments on the Safe Banking Act as well. We also saw that a new MJ group, including tobacco and alcohol firms, push for reform. So major stakeholders push Congress to enact sweeping federal MJ reform. Just got bigger with the formation of a new band of businesses and an industry experts who believe legalization is foregone conclusion, and the real prize will be shaping a nationwide MJ regulatory framework. So the coalition for, I'm not going to say that because the algorithm doesn't like it, but MJ policy, education, and regulation is a combination of major players from mostly outside the traditional MJ space, but includes some that already have a financial stake in the industry. Members include Altria Client Services, who's partnered with Kronos, Constellation Brands, who's partnered with Canopy and spent $4 billion in an investment. Molson Coors, who's partnered with Hexo, but they failed to mention it here because the big boys are not done and girls aren't done loading up yet. So still in the accumulation phase, so they left Hexo out of there so that the masses don't know about it. I'm sure that is why. The Brinks Co., let me know in the comments below if that aggravates you. It definitely aggravates me, and we saw similar things happening with Tesla back before it started its massive run. Every single third-party coverage and analysts saying, don't buy it, they don't make any money, it's a terrible investment. And then meanwhile, they're buying it all up, and it goes from $100 to about $5,000 a stock. So I see what game they're playing, and I'm not buying it. But great to see that we have that push for reform. Aurora also sets its mammoth 1.7 million square foot greenhouse on the sales block. So remember when Aurora was thinking we want to be the biggest and the best and we just want to have more square footage? Well, back in that time, Hexo, people were looking at Hexo like they were crazy and saying that, while they were cutting costs and not, scaling to that extent, Aurora was diluting, and here they are with all this extra square footage and they can't do anything with it, and there's oversupply issues and that type of thing. So Aurora, I feel bad for anybody holding this stock because it just continues to disappoint shareholders. 48 North Corp announces pricing of overnight market public offering of units. So stock was halted today pending dilution and about 24% dilution. So I was pleased to announce, I don't know why they'd be pleased to announce, but previously announced overnight marketed public offering at units of the company at a price of 21 cents per unit. The company intends to issue up to 24 million units at the issue price for aggregate gross proceeds of $5 million, not including any exercise of the over-allotment option described below. So that's it for news and events on the day. We'll go into the charts. So there's not really much here in terms of updating. In terms of the daily charts, we're pretty much the same as yesterday, pretty much the same as SPY, except we held better than SPY. SPY lost the low of yesterday today and saw a brief daily consolidation. You can check out my market video that I just did on the broader market. But essentially, we could see a potential daily bull flag on SPY. And if that were to occur, obviously that would be very beneficial to the MJ sector as well. But just keep in mind that we are in daily downtrends on most names, and the most likely scenario here is lower highs, and we could be topping out here at EMA 26. So maybe around $35. The most likely scenario was a lower high compared to 37.08. and then we'll look to consolidate, form a higher low compared to the low here at 2804, and then change that daily trend. Very, very similar to SPY. Again, most MJ names did not consolidate in the Canadian space today. APHA didn't as well. ACB, even ACB didn't lose the low of yesterday. Oh, that's something. Cron never lost the low of yesterday. Hexo never lost the low of yesterday. So I made a post in the POW community to private members as well that I was adding to Hexo today around 7:20, and that came after SPY lost the low of yesterday, started daily consolidation, and didn't see much follow through. And then MJ didn't even consolidate. So I was very impressed by the bulls there. And yesterday we closed at the high of the day when SPY was weak. So I was very, very impressed with the overall bulls in the MJ space, specifically the Canadian space. And like I said, I added at around 7:20, and here we are at 7:54 after hours. So again, I was very impressed. We have Hexo earnings coming up on Thursday. So we got 3 more full trading days, and they report on the 18th in the morning. So we'll be covering that as well very, very closely next week with all of our game plans and updates. And I'll be sure to be doing videos to discuss the results and game plans leading up to that event. So on the bull and bear list, we had RIV, TGOD, N, and TLRY. On the bull list, we had VLNS, OGI, XLY, and Xena. So Xena's up to 14.5 cents. The discount comparison to Hexo on that deal price is shrinking. It's down under 20% now. So that arbitrage quickly getting snapped up, and people taking advantage of that arbitrage opportunity. So OGI didn't consolidate either, and we saw a nice bullish day today. And again, I was very bullish on MJ when OGI didn't start its daily consolidation. It seems to be kind of leading the market right now based on that news. You can check out a video that I did on that as well. So they got an investment from BAT, which is British American Tobacco. So essentially they're taking a 20% stake. But let's just bring on extended hours here. So to begin the morning, you can see here that we were hovering, and I mentioned this in a couple of my videos and to private members. We'd likely hover around the deal price, which was $3.79, and for the last couple of days, that's exactly where we kind of hovered, right in between and below. And then this morning, when the market opened and we held that low of 368, we confirmed a 5-minute uptrend during regular trading hours. We bounced off EMA 12, and that was the go signal here. And we were starting to break that high of pre-market, getting above that deal price. And then, like I said, once we had the low, high, higher low, and higher high, I would have probably waited for this higher low and higher high, because we had essentially a double top here at 391, 392. And then we pulled back for a 5-minute higher low, bounced off EMA 26, and from there, bulls had full control of the day, and you would have been up about 20% just off of that double top and 5-minute higher low. You could have set your stop under the low of the day. So essentially, you'd risk about 5% to make upwards of 20% plus. So congrats to the OGI bulls today. But again, just zooming out to the daily time frame, we're just looking for daily lower highs. We actually did have a mini higher low here, but not a clear pivot point. I'd like to see us come back down, form a higher low somewhere around here, fill the gap potentially at 330. Gap fill would be 325. But again, lack of resistance up till 645. So we'll want to see a clear daily higher low and clear pivot point. But if you wanted to say OGI was in a daily uptrend, I wouldn't argue with you. So we'll move on. We'll take a look at CGC. So CGC closed below the 10-week moving average. The MACD and stochastic are trending down in a hurry, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all at the moment. Let's take a look at the moving averages on the weekly. So the weekly moving averages are curling here. We could see a 50 cross through the 100 and the 200. And on the daily, we're still below the 50-day moving average, which is a bit bearish. We're bouncing here off of the 100. So We could even bounce to the 50-day moving average at 35.58. There's a potential for that as well. 10-week moving average sitting at 35.74. So I could see us potentially test the 10-week moving average, the 50-day moving average, and if we confirm resistance, that could be a temporary top, and then we could look for a higher low compared to the low here at 30.86, I believe it was. No, sorry, 28.04. So we'll look for a higher low compared to that, but watch the 50-day moving average as a potential temporary top. On the weekly time frame here, you can see we're holding the VWAP and holding the 20 weekly moving average. So weekly inside bar on watch, and it's looking good. So we'll want to confirm a daily trend change, but in terms of CGC, one of the leaders, the leader, it's looking good. MSOS closed above its 10-week moving average just barely, but Stochastic and MACD are not looking too hot. We don't have much to find here on the weekly because of how new the ticker is, so we'll take a look at the moving averages on the daily. So we're back above the 50-day moving average. So we'll want to maintain that. And again, if we see SPY consolidate next week, that could provide some more selling pressure. But MSOS, very similar. This move's all coming straight off the lows. And we did have a low, high, and higher low, but generally we don't want to see the same, we don't want to see a higher low on the same candle to be absolutely confident. And we didn't, again, not a clear pivot point there. So if we come down, consolidate on Monday along with the S&P 500, if we come down, test say $44 or 43, form a higher low, and then break resistance of 47.02, this recent high, then that would be a daily trend change in my opinion. We also have EMA 26 there, right on it, so we're potentially topping out at resistance. And again, daily downtrend, most likely scenario is just a daily lower high compared to resistance here at 50.70. 50 psychological also will be strong support, strong resistance more than likely. So again, likely just anticipating daily lower highs, and we need to form a clear higher low and higher high and change that daily trend. So in terms of the bull and bear list on the US side, we had KHRN, some profit taking after the news of Mexico legalizing KBEV, MMEN. On the bull list, we had TAT, CXXI, and AYR. So TAT had a nice day today, up over 8%. Daily bounces still underway, closed above the EMAs, and still no daily trend change yet on TAT. So we're not 100% convinced that this is our weekly higher low just yet. A lot of weekly inside bars on watch as well. So we're going to end it there. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. Again, we've got major earnings coming up. We have Hexo next week. We've got a lot of the US MSOs reporting the week after. I believe TrueLeave and a few other big tier 1 companies. So we'll be doing a lot of coverage on the MJ space in the next week or two. So be sure to tick the little bell. You'll be notified on any of those updates. Again, we'll be doing very, very tight coverage and mostly focusing on MJ next week. Again, we'll be doing a lot of coverage on Hexo. Expect a lot of videos about game plans and discussions of those results and earnings. I'm very bullish on the earnings going into Thursday. Again, it's in pre-market, so you're going to have to position yourself before the end of the day on Wednesday. And again, if you're playing earnings, I'm going to be swinging profits through earnings, so I can allow for a little bit more risk. Generally, I don't play earnings, so if you are considering to swing and play the earnings reaction, just be aware that anything can happen. And if you're using new money, you're risking, and it's essentially gambling. No one knows, but I've got a hunch that they're going to have stellar earnings. I'm expecting a beat on revenue, a solid beat on revenue, and a beat on EPS, but ultimately flat or slightly negative. I don't think they're going to have positive EPS this round, maybe next quarter, but I do foresee positive EBITDA as a potential outcome. So I'm very bullish, and I'm excited for next week. Let me know in the comments if you're excited. I've got a position in Hexo now. I have my long-term no touch, but I also have my day trade account that I'm slowly scaling back into, and I'll look to add to that more next week if we see daily consolidation. If we don't, I'm fine as well. I am happy with the amount of shares that I have to swing through earnings, and I'll be holding them for the long term regardless. But like I said, in my swing trade account, looking to average in a little bit lower on some daily consolidation. And in my swing and day trade account, I will likely sell that if we have a huge bull reaction to the earnings. And I'll look to reload cheaper and just continue to play the highs and lows. So we'll end it there. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth for an MJ Sector review. Again, best of luck going into next week. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you Monday after market close. Take care, everybody.